Thank you. I'm Amy Patterson. I am the program director for an ECI program in San Antonio. So I'm one of those 53 programs throughout the state of Texas. We are a fairly large program. I want to try to fill in a little bit of gaps from what I heard a little bit this morning, as well as some of my own personal testimony. When I got there 12 years ago, we were serving, and on any given month, about 350 children. We're now serving over 800 children in a month. We served 2,400 children last year. We are growing and growing and growing. I know you all have a big job to do, and I don't have the answers for you, but I just want to give you as much information as I can. Our population's growing as a whole within the state, especially in San Antonio, but also is early identification of children with autism, as well as many other diagnoses. There's a huge critical window at the age that ECI serves from children 0 to 36 months. Depending on what study you look at, anywhere from 80 to 90% of brain development happens during that time. So there's a lot that can be done if we can get to the babies early when they're young, do as much therapy as we can do. I know we're proposing reducing from 32,000 to 26,000, give or take, and in order to increase some of the numbers of hours per services from 2 to 3. I also want to say, when you say those numbers, 2 hours per month, 3 hours per month, kind of sounds like not a lot, especially in the life of a child at that age. But there's a lot of families or staff that spend 5, 10, 15 hours a month in the homes as well, providing service coordination and other things that are provided by ECI that just aren't calculated in that number. So I have to slip that in on behalf of the staff. There's also an issue that I have with talking about which children to cut, and I think Ms. Dukes spoke well. It's hard to talk about. You have children with diagnoses that we're all very familiar with, and ECI provides services to children with hundreds of different diagnoses, but there's the children with developmental delays that haven't received a diagnosis. Many of these kids that we're talking about that potentially cutting, and I know we have to do something somewhere, but a lot of those children, just because it's such a young population, haven't received that diagnosis yet, or are going to continue to become more delayed and potentially cost us exponentially more within the school systems, the juvenile systems, those sort of things. So I think you all, it sounds like you all have great concern for it, and I think I'm very glad to hear some of your questions, because I think it shows that you're aware of what's going on. But it's critical. It's only becoming more and more of a need for these children. I'm also the parent of a child that received ECI services that really we went from praying for him to survive and ever leave the hospital to what is his future going to be like to he's now an 8-year-old boy that got straight A's on his report card this month. So that's some of the dreams that I've had for ECIs. You want those kids that are going to get it done before age 3 when things are really delayed and there's an issue to be able to not receive services anymore. So there's just a lot of spectrum of children going on here. We want to make sure that we're not just missing those that haven't received a diagnosis yet, but also being able to help those kids that we won't have to spend money on later.